It's the moment you've all been waiting for, the showdown between Balam's Redguns and Arquebus's Vespers. 4 players representing each team, but only one team will come out on top. The first match is about to begin, and we have an exciting matchup here. A Balam Tetrapod facing off against an Arquebus Tetrapod, both sporting some heavy hitters, but which one will prevail? What's interesting to note is that the Arquebus AC has a nice balance of offense and defense at their disposal, while the Redgun AC is all about using those weapons to take an early lead. They miss with the bazooka, trying to go for a charged Hera shot, but the shield blocks it. If the Redgun has any hopes of coming out on top, they need to overcome that defense. But it's obvious that the Arquebus AC has the ultimate combination of defense and offense going for them, being able to take some easy hits with the LRB and safely defending themselves with the pulse shield. And they're still making good use of cover. You never want to go all in on a shield. You want to be able to take full advantage of your surroundings. The Redgun AC is having a difficult time being able to keep up with the Arquebus AC, but they're closing the distance, looking for an opening, but the Arquebus Vesper is not giving them one, popping the pulse armor, making sure that they have this win in the bag. Still looking for an opening. They take a charged attack, almost staggering their opponent. They have the stagger, but they don't follow up with the punish. That pile bunker could have won them the round. Unfortunately, it did not make contact at such an awkward angle. But the Redgun is not out of this just yet. It's also a good thing both players are sporting tetrapods, because this map is infamous for players falling off the map when they let their guard down and don't manage their energy. The Arquebus AC has their shield fully up and ready to go this round, while the Redgun AC is trying to do as much damage as they can to get an early stagger. They definitely need it, and if they can manage to land the pile bunker this time, it can be their round. However, the Redgun AC is still having a difficult time keeping up in the air. Misses the assault armor. That is too bad. That could have been their one chance to stagger their opponent. They're still relentless, going all in, trying to land all of their attacks. Still in pursuit. The Arquebus AC is staggered again. The Redgun AC is not ready for the punish. You have to admit, the Redgun's relentless, and that could have been it. Right there. It is a shame that the pile bunker wasn't a few feet closer. They could have kept themselves in the match, but it is what it is. The Vespers take the first point of the tournament. Will it continue this way, or will the Redguns make a comeback? Very interesting. We have a Defang heavyweight AC rocking some Gatling gun options. You know I'm a huge fan of those. And their opponent is a lightweight reverse joint Schneider build. Of course, it's going to be all about mobility if they want to be able to avoid the firepower of the Redgun AC. However, the Schneider AC does have some very good ranged options in the form of the laser turrets and the laser orbit. Looks like the Redgun is still looking for their opponent, and they managed to set up some laser turrets dead center of the map, trying to get in some early damage. The Redgun AC is having a tough time keeping up with their opponent. Meanwhile, they also have to try to avoid all of this laser fire coming in all directions. This Vesper is taking Balam's motto of dominance through material superiority and throwing it right back at them. It's a good thing that this Defang AC has a lot of defense. They can easily tank through the laser attacks. However, this Redgun needs to find an opportunity soon to melt their opponent, because the Schneider AC lacks defense and it'll only take one stagger for them to go down. But They're smarter than that and making sure that their opponent doesn't have sight of them, taking full use of terrain and setting up turrets in all the open areas. Let's see if the red gun is going to go on the offense anytime soon. They're trying to maintain stagger. It's hard to hit from that range, though. They have to close in. If I was in the red gun's position, I would be assault boosting like crazy, going full rat catcher, because they need to make sure that it doesn't go down at time. The Schneider AC still has that as an option to win this game if it comes down to it. There are so many lasers in the area. You would think that this is a 70s nightclub with a laser show, but the red gun is not a fan. They are desperately trying to hang in there. They keep losing sight of their opponent. The Schneider AC is out in the open, taking a big risk, but they can secure the round, and they do. If the red gun has any hopes of staying in this, they have to go all in on offense and to make sure that they hardlock their opponent. Otherwise, this Schneider AC is going to have an easy time setting up those turrets and repeating round one. There seem to be some frame rate issues, but I think that has to do with the speed of the AC. I'm keeping an eye on anything in case there's some shenanigans going on. Just the frame rate so far. And they have the advantage with the turrets all around them, making it super difficult for this red gun to close the gap. They don't even have a visual on them. Ooh, they almost land their heavy-hitting weapon on the Vesper. Had they done so, that could have been a stagger that they so desperately need right now. Okay, they are in optimum range. They land a hit, and the Vesper is staggered, but on the other side of cover, making it impossible for the red gun to capitalize on that. The Vesper is not taking any chances. They are keeping their distance, making sure that they hit them with every laser weapon that's at their disposal. It is incredible how much laser fire the turrets are capable of maintaining. It's a good thing that laser drones weren't allowed, otherwise you would see autonomous warfare on an unprecedented scale. The red gun has to really make sure they're in their opponent's face. They seem to be closing the distance, but they don't have the lock. It seems to be their weakness in all of this, is maintaining the lock on their opponent. Schneider AC taking full advantage of this, making sure that they're able to keep up the pressure and they win the match, making it more difficult for the red guns to keep up, as the score now is Arquebus 2, Balam 0. But that means the double points are in Balam's court. All of Balam's hopes and dreams to stay in this tournament fall on the shoulders of this AC. Will they have what it takes to keep them in this? Their opponent is a hover-legged AC with quite the variety of weapons for pretty much any range. And the red gun excels at mid-range with that kind of a loadout. The red gun greets their opponent with a gamer greeting, classic. They chose an all-mind weapon in the form of the laser orbit, which does synergize really well with the Huxley. They can maintain a lot of pressure at mid-range, and I can vouch for the combination of the Harris linear rifle and Turner rifle. It is what I used for my White Glint recreation. It excels at chipping away at your opponent. You can commit to kiting or stay in their face. The Arquebus AC is desperately trying to keep up with them, using the laser lance to close the distance. In an open map like this, it is very clear to say that the red gun has the advantage here. Again, trying to use the laser lance to close the distance to their opponent. Great dodge. They avoided the Javelin Alpha. You do not want to get hit by that. It's also interesting to see how both opponents chose an all-mine weapon for different reasons. The Red Guns take round one. They are still in this. Will this be the comeback that the Red Guns so desperately need to stay in this tournament? I know I sound biased, and I might be, but I want to see the Red Guns still in this. They are making sure they're chipping away at their opponent. Vesper is trying to get a stagger early on. However, they pop the pulse armor, trying to close the gap. The Red Gun AC is not making it easy for them. Again, the map is a crucial part in all of this, and they know it. Again, using the laser lance to close the distance. It's not doing them any favors, but I realize I should change perspectives here. Again, I'm very enthralled by this. I want to see if this will be the comeback that the Balam Redguns need. And it is. Balam is still in it, tying things up 2-2. It comes down to this, everybody. This is the final match. Only one team will win the prize today. This is it, the final match. Another Arquebus tetrapod representing the Vespers, and we saw how that went down in the very first match. It's come full circle, and the final Red Gun is a hybrid of Defang and Balam parts. They have a pile bunker, which means if they can land a fully charged melee attack, they can secure a fast and easy win. And this map is going to be difficult for both players to keep an eye on one another and not fall off the map. Another infamous one for this. And the Vesper comes in around the corner, landing the perfect hit with the laser lance. Trying to lure their opponent off of the map, I see. They are playing with fire, though. If they run out of energy, that'll be it. Oh, just out of range from the assault armor, and I'm not sure if this was intentional, but the Arquebus Vesper almost fell to their doom. They pop the pulse armor to make sure that they maintain a health lead. Red Gun trying to find a way in close without jeopardizing themselves, going right into the laser lance. The Vesper is descending, though. Is this going to be it? They're descending, and they find a ledge the last second. Red Gun coming in, trying to risk it all right here and now. They manage to climb back to the center of the map, giving it everything they have, but it's not enough. This is really anyone's game. One opponent can screw up and just fall off the map. There is very little room for error in this kind of a location. Oh, the Red Gun gets blindsided by the laser lance. Trying to make good use of their Zimmerman to build up the stagger meter. But again, the Vesper has the range advantage, and they're making use of the middle column for cover. Going in, though, close with the laser lance. It's those unpredictable attacks that's throwing the Red Gun off. The laser lance is not something to take lightly. As you can see, almost going in for a pile bunker there. It's time to go for assault armor. They managed to hit them. They need to get the stagger and see if they can hit them with their melee attack. They do a blind bunk out of reach. Unfortunately, they were not within range. The Red Gun is onto their tactics, though, not risking it, and it's too little too late. The Vespers win it all in this final match. Every player here gave it their all today, but there can be only one winner. Final score, Red Guns 2, Vespers 3. Vespers are the winner of this tournament. Here are the builds that were in the tournament, and my closing thoughts. Let me start off by saying thank you to everyone that participated and entered for a chance to be selected. I did notice, as it was brought to my attention, that some players noticed their entries were being removed by YouTube. I guess they didn't like people posting their PSN handles. I made a community post about it for a workaround by simply posting your share ID, and it did work, although I think it was too little too late in that regard, because there were so many people that entered for Team Balam that it could have been its own tournament, but I had to minimize the amount of total players for this showing to balance things out for the Vespers, and I hope you understand that. Hopefully in the next one things will go smoother in that regard. And yes, I would like to host more tournaments like this because it was really fun, and I hope those participating also had a good time. If I do make any more announcements, it will probably be on the community post side of things, so make sure you're subscribed to not miss any updates. Now, one thing I want to bring up, because in the announcement video I made about this tournament, there were some comments asking why certain companies weren't allowed for each faction, and there's a reason behind that. Originally, I was going to allow things like Furlong for Balam to have access to missiles until I realized that you would see a lot of builds probably running either Harris and Curtis combo with cell missiles and any other missile of choice, and it would be a kite fest just on one side alone. And I wanted to avoid that because there was a comment a few videos back that brought up a good point as to why they don't watch tournaments anymore. And they said it's like watching all the players choose the same fighter in a fighting game. And I was like, wow, that's actually a good analogy, because I was thinking the same thing. It's why I also stopped watching tournament videos online, because it is more of the same. Not to discredit how good those players are, but let's be honest, that's the state of the metagame. And I wholeheartedly wanted to avoid it in this tournament. I'm aware of the lore and association of all these companies, but at the same time I wanted to encourage build variety, and why the all-mind weapons were an option, which turned out to be pretty crucial, I noticed, in the matches, because the builds that ended up winning were the ones that had loadouts that synergized really well. And I know some of the builds tried to accomplish a little bit of everything, which is fine, because in a tournament setting like this you could probably get away with that. But when you throw in weapons from All Mind, you could really capitalize on pushing a certain kind of build even further. Like you saw the ranged Balam AC, they were able to keep up pressure no problem. So I'm honestly surprised more people didn't choose an all-mind weapon, because some of them can really make up for what an AC's lacking or capitalize on their strengths. So that is my reasoning for this particular rule set. I will, however, put up a poll whenever I do host a Balam versus Arquebus tournament again, asking if you all want me to include these companies, but I'm still very wary about the outcome. You'll notice a lot of the top meta weapons are associated with Furlong and the other ones that were exempt, but I'll leave it up to all of you later down the road. Overall, I think this was a great turnout, minus some of the issues that had to do with the entries. And I think it really showed some of the mindsets and build processes people come up with such a limited parts pool. And that was part of the challenge after all. I also was expecting to see certain loadouts for both sides that didn't really come to fruition. Like, I thought there would be at least one Zimmerman-Haldeman combo for Balam, and then maybe an LRB Karasawa pairing for Arquebus, because those two duos in particular from testing did a lot for stagger buildup and damage output. Throwing that out there for anyone that wants to look into building an AC for the next tournament. That's also my thought process when I make any of these build videos, or like the recreations from older generation games, because you really have to put yourself in a position where you have to try to make something work. And you all seem to enjoy it too. Unless I use something with double ear shots, then some of you absolutely go big mad on me. But other than that, give it up for everyone that participated in this tournament. They fought tooth and nail, and these matches were real nail biters. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And until next time, take care.